Now, if you're anything like me, you probably pay pretty close attention to the YouTube channels you watch regularly. In fact, one of the things I like to do when I'm really into a YouTube channel is check out the YouTuber's background. Not in a stalkery type way. So she was born in Hereford and used to work in a supermarket. Getting a glimpse into someone's room or having a look at the little knickknacks they have on display can tell you quite a lot about that person, and quite often there are also stories attached to the items they have around them. With that in mind, I've been thinking a lot about my own YouTube background, and I've been thinking about the stories that are attached to the items I have around me and that you can see in these YouTube videos. And because I'm nice like this, I thought I would tell you about 4 of them. So you may have noticed that my absolutely teeny tiny small YouTube channel prominently features 2 much bigger, more successful, famous YouTubers in basically every video. Over there, that's Dan and Phil. I've had my YouTube channel for years and years. Years and years and years and years. But I only started making weekly videos like the one you're watching now back in March-April last year. That's because in the December of 2015 I was introduced to Dan and Phil. Sadly, not literally. I loved both of their individual channels and their joint gaming channel so much that it inspired me to start my own YouTube channel. And seeing as I already had one lying around that I wasn't doing anything with, I figured I had no excuse but to get cracking. To be fair, having a YouTube channel was something that several of my friends had been going on at me for ages about. Emma, you should start a YouTube channel. But it wasn't until I watched Dan and Phil and thought, that looks really good fun, I think I want to try that I actually decided to properly give it a go. So if you hate this channel, I'm sorry, but you've got them to blame. Now, making videos is one of my absolute biggest passions in life. I love it. I love coming up with ideas for videos. I've gotten really into editing, which is something I never thought I would do. But I really love every step of the process, and it all started because I just loved their videos so much. So I keep a poster of them on my wall because they are my biggest YouTube inspiration, and every time I look at it, it reminds me to keep being creative and strive for my goals. And also, Phil Lester is the perfect man, and I just need him on my wall, alright? Shut up and don't judge me. Underneath the poster is a collage of photos of a dude I love just as much, but in a very different way. The very first video I uploaded to this channel way back in 2009 was a short video of my dog Cal playing fetch. Cal was bought for me just before my 13th birthday after I begged and pleaded with my parents to get me a dog. I even made a collage of pictures of different dogs and stuck it onto their bedroom door in the hope that maybe it would work. I essentially ruined their lives for several weeks, just going, please can I have a dog, please can I have a dog, please can I have a dog? And kids, pester power works, because I got me a dog. Cal and I essentially grew up together from teenage crushes and GCSEs and A-levels to first relationships and first heartbreaks. He was there for all of it. One of the pictures on the collage on my wall is actually the second to last photo ever taken of he and I together. That was taken just a few weeks before he died. I was with Cal when we had to have him put to sleep, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. A week or 2 after he died, I had a paw print tattoo done on my shoulder in memory of him. He was a super special dog. If you ask me, am I a dog or a cat person? I like cats, but I am 100% a dog person. And he was a really special little dog. Over on the other side of the room, there is a pinky purple painting, which you can just about see. That was painted by one of the most inspirational women I have ever met. Back in the 80s, there was a British band called Wham, who were fairly famous. You may have heard of them. Wham were comprised of George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley, and Andrew Ridgeley's parents lived right here in Wadebridge, Cornwall. Albert, Andrew's dad, was friends with my dad, and that's how I met him. He was so lovely. If you imagine the archetypal old-fashioned gentleman who kisses you on each cheek when he meets you and tells you how beautiful you look, even when you look like a sack of manure, that was Albert Ridgely. He was just so friendly and so polite and so warm. He was just such a lovely person. After a while of knowing Albert, he introduced me to his wife Jenny, who he told me was an artist. Jenny was one of the warmest, funniest, cleverest women I've ever met. When we met, she asked me what I did, and I told her what my job was, and then I said, but I really want to be a writer. She asked me, do you write? And I said, yeah, nothing published, but I write short stories for children and I've got a blog. And she said, well then you are a writer. You don't want to be one, you already are one. And that really got to me. I've never forgotten it. And now sometimes I look at my very small pile of published books and think, I wonder what Jenny would say if she knew. In fact, she inspired me so much that to this day, I still carry a very old dog-eared business card that she gave me the first time I met her. After Jenny died, Albert took me to her art studio and showed me all of these paintings that she had in there, and they were amazing. And he said to me, I want you to have some of these because I know Jenny would have wanted you to have had some of these. The pink and purple one is one of the ones that I took home that day, and every time I look at it, I'm inspired because I think of Jenny, and she was an incredibly inspiring person. Sadly, Albert also passed away a few years ago. He was so well loved that at his funeral, Mum and I had to stand right at the back because there was just no room anywhere. Although, as a side note, at his wake, that's the only time in my life I've ever reached for a buffet and almost accidentally slapped the hand of a member of Spandau Ballet. True story. The last thing that I want to point out in my background is my little Mannix corner over there. It features a picture of me with my musical hero, James Dean Bradfield, lead singer of the Manic Street Preachers, as well as a signed postcard, which you may or may not have noticed because it has a habit of falling off the wall and I have a habit of forgetting to put it back up. And then there's a couple of set lists as well. I am so in love with this band, I can't even tell you. There's not even words for how much they mean to me. Their music has got me through so many hard times in my life, and their music has been the reason for some of the best times in my life as well. And if you haven't already seen my channel name origin story video, this is a good time to tell you that the reason this channel is called MrsManics is because I am so desperately in love with the Manic Street Preachers. I've seen them live something like 14 times, and I have their lyrics tattooed on this shoulder. They are a monumentally huge part of my life, and if you have never heard a single Mannix song and you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm going to end this video now so you can go and research them, because you really should. So are you somebody who notices what's in the background of a YouTuber's video, or are you somebody who just watches the person and doesn't take notice? Maybe this video has made you decide you're gonna be peeking a little bit closer to what's behind a person in future. I don't know. All I do know is that I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. My little floaty head is going to appear here if you would like to subscribe to this channel, and last week's video is going to be there. Take care, everybody. Bye.